I had a video I put up that destroyed medical misinformation, and it was flagged even though I avoid mentioning what the hell we were talking about for real. When you have to walk on eggshells this brittle, you gotta wonder if the bird ever survived. So this video will use not quite Cthulhu style edits, you know, elder god stuff, but I'm gonna read the title. 111 foot thick gauntlet of 4 foot diameter trees 2 inches apart might be able to block mosquitoes and Bill Gates. Now the reason I titled it that way, this is the best I can do without it getting auto-flagged. Now I'm going to read information to you that is factual. I will be citing my sources below, but I can't have them spell out what they're citing. Even putting up a video mentioning certain types of filtration equipment in an address going to the CDC website will get your video flagged. I had a video flagged for mentioning the CDC. Now, some observations someone made, and I have only the links to an archive of what was asked of me. A person was doing a constant droning on and on about questions they didn't want answers for because they wanted to prove a point, and every time I pointed out that they were lied to, or that the quote didn't exist, or that it was accurate, that made them more angry, and they ignored the subject, which means they got all their comments erased from the channel because they would not acknowledge they were bringing up things that had been asked and answered. So what's the 11 foot thick gauntlet? Why is it 4 foot diameter trees, and why are they 2 inches apart? And why are we talking mosquitoes? First, I want to bring up one of the memes that was brought up. If you ask the internet who is the most powerful medical person, I have to use a word more complicated than the meme, and the most powerful one in the world, you get Bill Gates of Borg, because the first site you get to is a website that used a bunch of search engine tricks to make it happen. And also the word WHO also spells out World Health Organization. That's a simple answer, and the person didn't like it and ignored my response and just said, but why does Bill Gates show up of Borg? Next, oxygen in the atmosphere is approximately 20%. I found a listing of 21%. So when you inhale air, it's 20% or 21% oxygen. When you exhale, it's 16%. That's standard resting position. Someone measuring oxygen levels in front of your mouth, but there's a filter over your face, and finding 17.5% oxygen level is better than expected, not worse. Inhaled versus exhaled gas air percentages are 80% almost, but it's 79 is usually listed for nitrogen gas. Both ways, because we don't do anything with it. If it changes, that means your body is allowing nitrogen gas to be, you don't want that to happen. Anyway, carbon dioxide is 0.04% on inhale and 4% exhaled, because we use it to burn. We use oxygen to burn calories, and we exhale basically carbon dioxide from incinerating sugars, oddly enough, in water. Adding cloth over a filter, double filtering. I can't use the wording you were looking up to find this video because that's considered medical misinformation by explaining to you what oxygen levels exist when you breathe out. Someone putting a meter behind a filter, we can't use the other word, and saying he's finding 17% oxygen level and saying that's bad is lying. It's not a mistake. Adding cloth over a filter, double filtering, we can't use the other word, may help if your filter has only one layer. But instead of simply layering different filters on each other, or what it was double layering cloth because you can fold them over for a bank robber mask for Halloween, the CDC and other experts, everybody, recommended wearing face filters with 2 or 3 layers, since that's the standard. They fit snugly over your face. That is what's most important. If you cut a filter used for medical settings, you should see 3 layers, an outer layer and inner layer, both of which are designed for specific purposes, and an inner layer that's the fluffy stuff. 3 layers are recommended for greater protection. That's what triple filtering, can't say the other word, means. people lying about it get away with doing so because YouTube keeps taking my video down explaining that they're lying about what it means to triple up. No, it just means you have to buy the mask that is literally the only one you can get. Virtually all of them are triple layer. Actually take a used one, don't do this to a new one, you may need it, but take an old one that's damaged or whatever and cut it and see if it's 3 layers. Absolutely the majority of them are 3 layers. That's what it means to triple up your filter. Politicians are very much aware of this, and they've been told that. Someone mentioned that it seemed wrong to say that the virus is 1,000th of a human hair thick. I said the V word. Let's call it a particle. Well, a human hair diameter is 60 to 120 micrometers, which is 80 micrometers average, or 80,000 nanometers. Okay. Human hair diameter is also listed with a different set of numbers, but it averages out to 99 micrometers, or 99,000 nanometers. 1,000 times smaller than that would be about 99 nanometers. And the thing that shall not be mentioned, that is killing people, happens to have a diameter that averages at 100 nanometers. And, well, in general, that variety. But the specific one we're dealing with is slightly thicker. It's not exactly 1,000 times thinner, but it's so close that there's no reason to say that's inaccurate. Someone said that seemed inaccurate. The next thing is, someone said that the CDC or World Health Organization said it was that, but I can't find any reference to it, but it doesn't matter because that is absolutely accurate. The person didn't like that, ignored that, and kept talking about other shit. When you're proven wrong about something, instead of acknowledging you're wrong about something and then not repeating the wrong statement, just bring up more shit because you want to win an argument in the comment section. The person's comments were removed from my channel and will never return. I won't allow them. I'm sure they're showing up with another sock puppet account to do another argument. Trying to get me to cover the subject seems to be almost the need for it. I can't answer your questions, but here's the video. Let's see if it works. When particles under 3.3 microns hit air molecules, that's 300 nanometers, they bounce around in Brownian motion random zigzag patterns because they're bouncing off molecules that are just large enough by comparison to have inertia. And air molecules are air instead of being somehow a liquid or a gas, or a liquid or even a solid, because they are vibrating. That's because of heat. And so do the particles that we're trying to filter out. And I should also point out that these filters that we're talking about, we're not going to call them something else, are not useful against a very important thing, asbestos, because asbestos fibers are very much smaller than these particles that are diseases. Next, I had to spell it funny, but that specific filter you wear on your face, that's the high grade one, allow protection down to 0.3 microns or 300 nanometers and stop 60 nanometer objects. 0.2 millimeter or 200,000 nanometer thick filters are what you're wearing on your face. And they use a random mats of 8,000 nanometers thick fibers, or 800 nanometers or something like that. The particle rating is 5 times that of the actual particle we're talking about. People said that's not okay. And then they compare it to a residential barrier you hang up that you can see through, that a bug could fly through. Alright, but they don't mention how many layers. The openings are 2 inches wide, 5 times the a little less than 0.4 inch diameter mosquito. That's comparing it, saying, it can get through that fence, but the thing is, the fence isn't a single fence. It's 1,332 inches of fence after fence after fence it has to go through, and they're not lined up with each other. Even if they were, it would be difficult. And mosquitoes, while they're stupid, have some volition. Objects don't. And it should be pointed out that on the scale you'd be using 52-inch thick wire with 2-inch spacing between each 52-inch wide wire. And it would be stacked about 24 layers deep. This would be a 111-foot thick woodlot of 4-foot diameter trees 2 inches apart. A mosquito trying to navigate it without getting stuck or lost apparently is impossible in somebody's mind out there. Does the filter you wear on your face stop a 1 millihair particle like a chain link fence stops a mosquito? No. It's a 100-foot gauntlet of chain link fences. And they're not really fences, they're trees. And they're 4 feet across, and they're still 2 inches apart. Now, this is not really a correct analogy because they're not really the 4-foot trees 2 inches apart. They're 4-foot trees piled randomly on top of each other with almost no spacing at all, but the average works out to 2 inches apart in the gaps. The analogy people used about trying to stop a mosquito with a chain link fence is 100% a very good example, even if you just use the chain link fence. But if you used literally a forest full of 4-foot trees or a woodlot, it's an even better analogy. People who have to lie about these things rely on someone not contradicting them. This is a debunking video of a lie on the net, and it will be flagged viciously by YouTube and Google's bot. This is the same bot that has been acknowledged by YouTube to make this mistake over and over again for the last year, flagging almost 1 million videos. And some of them were debunking videos, and they still won't correct this unless you're a big YouTube channel that makes money. And the stuff we debunk is still up on YouTube because they won't remove the disinformation, but they accuse us of disinformation for debunking it. By uploading this video, I'm acknowledging that YouTube will false flag my video. The last time they did this was because I said something in the video. This time I'm including this as a test. The idea is to get around their censorship and actually communicate with people. At this point, the video will have a title and description that have absolutely nothing that would get a search engine ranking or getting any attention on YouTube. That's the design. The idea is to have not a silencing effect, not to have a chilling effect, but to have an agonizing, tormenting effect on people uploading. People are getting flagged for explaining how to put a mask on. People are getting flagged for describing how biology works. Some people have videos about evolution that have been flagged, which makes anti-evolution people very happy because they explained at one time the word that we're not allowed to use and use them as an example of diseases that evolve. We can't use the word that starts with M, instead of we have to use the word evolve. We are being newspeaked into a corner. Google is guilty of it. They've acknowledged outright that their bot is doing this by mistake, and they won't turn it off, and then they claim that 2 people review every one of them. No, they don't. And then when you ask for a review, they claim that the review is handled by a human. No, it isn't, because no human being would do this 3 times in a row. Not 3 individuals either. YouTube is lying. Google is lying. And again, this is the same AI bot that chooses your next video and makes sure that your advertisement is marketed to the people it should be. Remember when all those ads were marketed to children and YouTube got sued? Yeah, they lie. They always have and they always will. They have a horrible history of doing this. They've never been trustworthy. And I'm tired of people taking them seriously when they say they're doing this. And you can remember YouTube Heroes, where they had random people, over 9,000 people, the joke was, show up to volunteer for this. And a bunch of them blew the whistle afterwards, against the rules, by the way, by saying we weren't allowed to overrule the robot. YouTube's robot is doing more damage than good, and that's it. And because they won't give us real numbers and explain how often they're wrong, or even acknowledge that it's the bot that's doing it, and then backpedal when they get caught, I don't think anybody should take them seriously or trust them. And yes, I've had videos that have nothing about, I can't even figure out why they flagged it, have been flagged, and they of course say that their flagging was accurate. This is like complaining about the police self-investigating. They always exonerate themselves. YouTube. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck.